around the nation, to every corner of the world, delivering the stories that matter. This is First Next News.
Former Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Babachir Lawal, has declared his support for the Nigeria Democratic Congress, NDC, presidential ticket of Peter Obi and his running mate Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso ahead of the 2027 general election. Speaking during an interview on Symphony TV, Lawal also predicted that the presidential candidate of the African Democratic Congress, ADC, Atiku Abubakar, would lose the election. He said he was convinced Atiku would not emerge victorious and added that he personally hoped the former vice president would be defeated. According to Lawal, Atiku Abubakar will definitely lose the 2027 election. I pray he loses. I'm not the only one who wants this, but he will surely lose. Throwing his weight behind the NDC ticket, Lawal said Peter Obi and his vice presidential candidate Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso have the strongest chance of winning the presidency. On what he described as his personal political scale, he gave the Obi Kwankwaso ticket a 70% chance of victory, while rating President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's chances at 50%. Lawal also praised Peter Obi, saying the former Anambra state governor consistently tries to do what is right. His endorsement is expected to fuel discussions about the 2027 presidential race as political parties continue positioning themselves for the election. The former SGF's latest comments also reflect his continued disagreement with Atiku Abubakar. After leaving the ADC, Lawal repeatedly alleged that the party's presidential primary, which produced Atiku as its candidate, was massively rigged. Take a look at what Babachir Lawal had to say in the video. His endorsement of the NDC ticket is likely to generate fresh political debate as attention increasingly shifts toward the 2027 general election.
Bola has given some people stupendous amount of money to help them out of a crisis that I know some firsthand, without expecting, ordinarily for you, without expecting anything. But you see, the thing with Bola Tinubu is that he has a gift. I think it has to be a gift from God. He can see in you a future returns for himself in advance. But suddenly, I don't know what has happened. He has lost his soul.
He has lost his soul?
Yeah, because he has lost his soul. Having come to this government, he has lost his soul. I normally would decline commenting about Nasru because we're in the university together.
Oh, you were in ABU together?
Yeah, well, I was his senior, okay. But it was a survey department, I was electrical engineering department. And so I know quite, even at that time, some of his idiosyncrasies, some of his character flaws. He's somebody we used to call him Nasser a giant. Definitely, Atiku will lose. He will, and I pray he loses. I'm not the only one, and he will lose. Peter Obi will try to be fair to everybody. Peter Obi will try to do that which is right. Peter Obi, Kwankwaso, take note, I'm pairing them individually to be disaster, but I'm pairing them. So I'll give them on my own scale, they'll be close to like 70%. And again, Bola 50, Atiku 0. In that order. Why do you call it personal?
Let me put you on the spot. If Rotimi Amechi had clinched the ticket, compare him to all these other people.
Well, it's just unfortunate that because of his maybe personal excessive ambition, he decides to pair with the devil. But I have nothing against him. Overall, my assessment of him as a human being, as a person, is positive. But as a leader, I don't know. because he's brash, he's something like that. He's another version of Wiki.
Really?
Almost Polish, but better than Wiki. What? It's a failure. That's what it is in one word. The people are running the government don't seem to be people who love the country. There are people who love themselves. I don't think they even love their relations. So everybody is on his own for himself. That type of a mindset cannot give you good governance. The citizens are complaining, east, west, north, south. Everybody is bitter that life is tough, no matter which position you find yourself in. Life is tough for the ordinary man on the street. Life is tough for the minister whose capital projects are not funded. So, in a nutshell, it's a failed government.
The government spokesperson or supporters of the government will say that you are the SGF in the government of the immediate predecessor to the Tinubu government, that you do not have the bona fides to speak about them. That in fact, some say the Buhari government was a total failure, blah, blah, blah. That Tinubu is trying to rebuild what Buhari government destroyed. How do you respond to that?
Well, yes, they are free to. It's a free country. It's so far, it's freedom of speech so far, though it's being eroded gradually. But so they are free to say what they want. But yes, agreed. Bola Tinubu says he's rebuilding on the what Buhari left, but he's building backwards, not forward. The essence of government is when you come in, you take over from another government, you make sure you progress in the positive direction. But the fact that they chose to go in the opposite direction, it's a continuation of Buhari government, but opposite direction, total calamity. If somebody from far away, Adamawa State, is able to be a Kilba man from far away, Adamawa State, is able to be friend to somebody, a cosmopolitan boy from Lagos, it means there's something positive that they see in each other, isn't it? I've said it before that Bola Tinubu has two, as I can categorize to my knowledge, two phases of his life. Before he became president, he was an excellent human being. I mean, I used to give Bola Tinubu, who does not tolerate your suffering as a friend. If you are in problems, he will go to whatever length it's possible to solve your problem. He's listening. He takes advice, and he's kind. In that regard, I used to say that they have the same quality of character with Buhari. Buhari is also like that, very kind, very sympathetic to somebody in trouble, and positive the way to want to help. Bola was an excellent human being. He goes to become president, and something happens. And I know the time he changed, and I told him, I'm sure if he's listening, he will know.
You told him?
I predicted what will happen. After some time, around 2022, going forward, he almost relocated to Kaduna, to Abuja, close to the seat of power, I suspect, to, pursue his political ambitions. Now, the poor man, good man from Lagos, comes to Abuja and runs into a country with different people, with different upbringing, with different cultural backgrounds, and they surrounded him. I can tell you, our people, particularly the Northerners, that were his friend, while he was in Lagos remotely. Yes. They now caged the poor man. I think introduce some characters, induce him to do certain things that he would not do while in Lagos. At that point, he was consumed by this ambition to be president. They keep on telling him, we will make you president. We are Northerners, we are Fulani, we are Hausa people, we know Buhari, we know this, we know this. And they introduce him to these religious bigots and so on and so forth. What complaints everybody has now? Buhari was a president now, before he became another president.
Exactly.
He has access to intelligence about Tinubu's upbringing, about his lack of clear genealogy, his education. He knew everything. He knew everything. And that's one of the things I used against Buhari. I said, sir, before we went into this, before we went into looking for his support ab initio, before the match, we knew these things. Don't you? Say he does. I say, okay, so, but yet, we asked for his support, and he gave it to us wholeheartedly, along with other things. So how come now suddenly he has become evil? I don't think so. He should, I don't think it's Islamic, but certainly for me as a Christian, it's unchristian-like to bite the finger that fed you. At the point you were looking for his support, you knew this, you should have said, I don't want the support of a crook. But you didn't. So Buhari will say, yes, thank you, and change.
You normally said this to President Buhari?
Yes, no, normally, because everybody will tell you he made Buhari president. But there are other things, nitty-gritty inside that they were not privy to. Suddenly it was just when you get to the top level, you say from there you take over. But underground things, I was one of the few people that firsthand knew what Bola Tinubu did to facilitate Buhari's presidency. And I never let Buhari forget this. The thing with Bola Tinubu is that he has a gift. I think it has to be a gift from God. He can see in you a future returns for himself in advance, sort of like prophetically, like if I help Wale out of this in 5 years' time, Wale will do things for me. And that type of help he will give you is what that can stupefy you. It can stupefy you. You know, so he does things like that. He does things like that. A good man at that time. You know, when you're in trouble, he helps. But suddenly, I don't know what has happened. He has lost his soul.
He has lost his soul?
Yeah, because he has lost his soul. Having come to this government, he has lost his soul. Because he's somebody that is in charge all the time. But suddenly it looks like he's no more in charge. As long as he gets his own share of whatever he says he's looking for, the rest they can loot it and do whatever they want to do with it. It happens to every president, but in his own, it is a calamity. Everybody will tell you the Bola we knew is not the Bola we see now. Well, we don't see him again anymore anyway. But I wish he could go back to what he was before. Nigeria would be great. Nigeria would be great.
Why did President Buhari not openly support President Tinubu, candidate Tinubu then? And if he did not support candidate Tinubu, he did not support VP Oshibajo, he did not support Rotimi Amechi. People thought Rotimi Amechi was like his adopted son. He did not support any of those.
No, Rotimi thought.
Okay, Rotimi thought
that he was his adopted son.
Okay. And then, rather, the next thing we saw was that President Buhari was supporting Ahmed Lawal, former Senate president. Shed light on this. And then why did the President Tinubu? Because what we now saw was that he just stood aloof.
No, I tell you what happened.
Yes, sir.
By that time, a lot of things around Buhari had fallen into pieces.
Oh, dear.
He had come back, recovered from his illness and his old age, and there is no more stamina to do things he wants to do, including brain.
Oh, wow.
You get to a stage where all this gra-gra again doesn't mean anything to you. So he was aloft to the issues of governance. And when that vacuum is created, small pockets of influence begin to, so people started peddling influence. They would come to you and say, hey, I was with the president yesterday and we're discussing the candidates and it is you he wants. He says, it's you. However, you know, Buhari, there's this lady whom Buhari must just always listens to. If we know how to get to her, as an example, I'm giving you now.
Exactly.
If we get like, 500 million, she will do something for you, and they start to part with the big money. And they will try that with the Ashwaju, and Ashwaju probably will go into, what do you call it now, into a depression. And somehow when I hear, I go back and say, that's a lie. These people are just lying to you. Why not let's go and see him? He doesn't like to go to see Buhari for whatever, I don't know, he's afraid of Buhari. So
Tinubu was afraid of Buhari.
Oh yes, Tinubu doesn't like to force Buhari on such matters. Whatever he tells you. It's Baba Kande, whom Buhari respects a lot, and trusts. It's Bisa Kande that we will convince, and he will go in and talk and come back and usually reinforce what I had just told him yesterday also. So these people became very, very dominant around that thing. But Buhari, from my own personal relationship, I can tell you my own. When this crisis got to that stage, I saw him. Oga, why are you behaving like this? I again narrate what the man had done. What I didn't tell you is that at certain stage, when after Buhari won the ticket, there was no issue of campaign funding. And Buhari is not a money person. Anytime, even in meetings, you discuss money, Buhari will be looking at the ceiling. Anytime they say leaders should contribute something, Buhari develops deaf ears. Money is not his comfort zone at all. So we got to a stage we needed money. And Temi Presilva, my friend, and who I knew through Buhari, told me that we could raise the money because he's very well in good books, so many of the Nigeria's rich men. So we made an appointment to see one of the big-time rich people. And we went to him. He didn't want to be seen by us, because by then we were popular Buhari people.
Exactly.
So we entered a boat, his yacht, and we took off to the high seas, and we did the discussion.
On the high seas?
And he agreed to support. So when we came out of the boat, there was this policeman that saluted Temi Presilva in Ijo language, and my friend became depressed. From that moment, he said, I'll go back to the hotel and he said, what dinner? I couldn't even eat dinner. What happened to you? I thought we had a good news, we should celebrate. He said, no, he said, that's Sergeant. He's from Bayelsa. He's Goodluck's cousin. And anytime Goodluck wants to get something on you, that guy is the one they post to you. So this our meeting would have reached the president here by now. And it did. Before we go to Lagos, they had called that man. He got in Abuja before us. Insulted him and threatened him and that. So, and these rich men, they have a club, a cult-like club.
Yes.
They want each other. So from that day, nobody who is rich would pick our phone. So I became confused and I went to...
Sorry, Sir. So the Goodluck government threatened that
Oh, yes.
Billionaire was meant to finance.
Yeah,
backed off.
Of course.
Wow.
Did not even back off. He jumped into the seas. And so couldn't get any man again.
Wow.
So I went to Bola. I said, Oga, see what happened? But you now, you are their friend. You deal with them, you are in the same circle. Can you help us in this matter? And he did. And through him, we were able to raise sufficient funds to do the campaign. No,
can you tell us, how did you and Buhari become so close? What happened? How did that?
No, it's not about the government. It's not about government. It's a story. It's not for public knowledge. But when I was a small boy, I think Form 1 or Form 2, I went to see my uncle who was in the same street with him. And the uncle was not at home. There was nobody at home. And I was very hungry. So I went to the next house, his house.
Buhari's house?
Yes, and there was this madam. His wife was a very motherly woman, his first wife. And I said, Bidi, how are you? I said, fine. So what is happening? I said, I came for a weekend pass. So let me say a pass. I saw it. So okay, what's wrong? I said, I'm hungry, ma. She said, I've just cooked Oga's food. It's on the table. But I'm cooking for the general house. Are you too hungry? I said, madam, I'm too hungry. I said, okay, eat that one. I'll start, I'll cook him another one. He normally comes a little bit late, so let's pray that I'd finish cooking before he comes. I was busy enjoying that jollof rice and fried chicken when the man walks in. You know, very straight, very soldierly, uniform fits him. With the stick, he walks in. He walks in, removes his cap, hangs it on the stand, remove his belt, hang it. And I was there in my army uniform. Me now, I knew I was in trouble, so I better enjoy my food anyway. So, and I enjoy my food. And then he comes to me, he walks past me, enter the kitchen. That's Haja. Who is this eating my food? He said, that is our neighbors, General Hanania's.
Okay, that's General Hanania.
Yeah.
Wow.
So that's General Hanania's cousin. He just came in and he was hungry. I'll soon finish your own food. So he came out and sat opposite me. That's when I stood up, the chest out. Sir, good afternoon, sir. I said, good afternoon, and I continue eating my food. So when I finish, I carried the plate back into the kitchen and put on my belt and put on my cap and saluted. And then went to the living room.
Were you in the military, sir?
I was in military school. So I sat down. So he came and sat down near me. He said, a very interesting character. I was in Form 1, this is 1970. And he says, I am a very interesting character. Who are you? Give me about yourself. So I told him about what gave you the courage to eat my food like that with confidence. I said, Oga, I grew up very poor. And sometimes I'd go for days without food. So anytime I see food, I don't wait to be invited home, because that might be the last food I'll see for that week.
Wow.
So he said, exactly like me. So I grew up like that too. From that day. Yeah, so my trousers, my military uniform was undersized because I was tall. I made my height 6 feet 4 inches in this circle from 1. So my trouser was just a little bit below my knee because it's standard issue.
Yes.
You go to the quartermaster, he picks one and throw at you.
Yes.
My shirt, the long sleeve, is just about short sleeve. So so he now, when we finished, he now put me in the car to the one div base and called the quartermaster to measure me. And from there, they will sew a standard uniform for me, and anyone I'm on holiday, I'll come. So from there, we became very close until, of course, he became a big man. And then he went into politics. No, he was in PTF when I reconnected with him. I congratulated him. And when I went to his, what was in the Nikon, he was interviewing drivers. So, okay, you're interviewing drivers. As chairman PTF, he said, yes, sir, you should learn to trust people now. This is not your job. Drivers, sir, these are for people below. So he said, you started again. He said, I miss you. He said, I miss you. You're the only person that can tell me this. I said, yes, but is it not the truth? He said, it's the truth, but why don't they tell me the way you tell me? I said, I don't know. So we reconnected again.
Let's talk some politics, sir. Do you believe the opposition are they doing enough to hold this government to account, to put them under pressure? The way you guys put Jonathan and PDP under pressure, 2014, to get power, you described a bit of it here. I mean, if I remember the role, people like Lai Mohammed, who was the face of the publicity arm, I mean, what they were doing there. Are these people serious? The opposition, are they?
The generation is progressive. With every regime, we degenerate more. And so there are very few people that have clean hands enough to attack government. And some of them are just pretenders. You can imagine somebody, I wrote a press release somewhere that Atiku's press release criticized the NBA election as if the process is not clean. Why did I leave ADC? Because Atiku manipulated the congresses. So it's not shameful.
I was coming to that. So now that you mentioned it, let's talk about it. When you left the ADC, you didn't just leave quietly. You shook the building to its foundations. Accused Atiku of so many things. You called him Kachala, Atiku, and all of those. Explain to us, sir.
I'm not somebody that like to live quietly. There's in my village. I think there's a big. The legend is that there's a big snake in one mountain. So anytime it comes down, it clears every shrub, and then rain begin to fall, and everybody's they floating everywhere because the python or the whatever it is. So I'm like that. I go out as a hurricane because sometimes it's because it touches at my core values. And when it touches at your core values, there's nothing to live for again.
But did you really rig the primaries?
No, there was no primaries.
How do you say that, sir?
I was there now. Remember,
you can only be in one place. You were not in all the statistics and the FCT, sir.
Look, all over the country, it was rigged. First of all, understand my position in that party. I was national vice chairman noticed. Apart from that, I was a very senior member of the founding coalition. I was somebody that had experience in how political parties are run. I've been there before. And I had a very good relationship with the chairman. And me and the secretary and I, National Secretary Rauf, go back many, many years in the 80s, 1980 something. So I was quite influential in quite a lot of the things that happened. One thing I did, sometimes we were one of those who were pushing for a consensus candidate because we don't believe that the party had the resources to do a national level primaries. It was just basically what INEC does, except that it's done at the world level. INEC goes to the polling unit. We didn't have the resources, so everybody knew that this process cannot be free and fair. Now, I, for example, can tell you that I was, as the national chairman, as the zonal chairman noticed, we were supposed to constitute the primaries committee for each state in our zone. What was the regulation? The rules were that, the state will nominate 5 people, 1 from each senatorial zone at least. And then you, the vice chairman for the zonal chairman, will bring the chairman and the secretary from outside. Knowing given my character, and then they suggested it must be former governor, former permanent, former this, big, or general. I went out of my way to get people that I thought had integrity. I went out of my, because that's my style. And in the 6 states in my zone, I appointed them and sent them out. Of course, some I didn't know much about them, but I can tell you, all those people who were sent out didn't do what they were supposed to do. They didn't deploy the level of integrity that I expected of them. The thing pained me. And everywhere, that's the story you hear from other zonal chairmen or from other leaders of the party. Here you said about FCT. FCT, I went out. It was drizzling a little bit, so I went out trying to see what
what's going on.
Everywhere, there was no election. Materials had not reached site. So I complained to the senior leaders of the party. One of them, the senator, said, it's drizzling. They cannot do these primaries when it's drizzling. So the electoral officers went to a safe place with the election materials and we quarreled. I said, but as you see the safe place, how can an electoral officer run to a safe place with the election material? People are here on the polling where they're expected to be. Nobody is seeing them. It's live, I'm seeing it. I phoned other states. It's the same thing here. Eventually, when the rain around 4, they came out to do boju and road results. And I was here. I went around. I didn't say anything. As a person in the zones, it's like that. One of my chairman said, sir, how do you expect Atiku, our leader, Atiku, to lose in Adamawa State? Is that a story? He lost. So they rewrote the results. And then when I was protesting why they rewrote the results, like in my local government where I knew, this man was the other, Mohammed Hayatuddin, whom I preferred, I must say, got about 2,000 or 12,000 something. I think there were 20,000 votes. And Atiku got a little bit below 1,000. But the result was inverted. This I know. I found the people, why did they stay back in Song? People were still waiting for them to turn up at the polling station. They stayed back in Song and they wrote the result they were instructed to do. So I thought about it. I told people I can't live with this. Am I going to now sit down tomorrow with some of these people in ADC and discussing a new generation of political party that will be exemplary? This is what we set out to do. That we will not do what we have brought from. So I can't live with it. So I better leave them. It's them I left. I can't find everybody says, sir, but how do you do now? We have to manage it. Someone who's very high up will say, Oga, you have a choice. You have a farm. Some of us don't have farm. These are people close to me. And they have this mindset that you cohabit with evil. Because you have no choice, there's always a choice. And I picked that choice.
Sir, they can't. I've spoken with somebody here, a very close person in the ADC, who said your fallout with Atiku. In fact, he said, number one, you have a candidate, and you have collected money from your candidate, Ayatollah, which you said now, and it's because you didn't get your order as well. And then secondly, and very importantly, this particular person said you met Atiku to fund you to become governor of Adamawa, and you asked for 5 billion naira. And when he refused, where do you want to get that? I know that person.
I told my lawyer to write him. I forgot. He's a deputy national chairman.
Something. That he said that because Atiku said doesn't have money.
You know, that is the problem with Atiku. He gets such charlatans around him to speak for him. Now, I want to be governor of Adamawa State. Why would I need Atiku to finance me? Why would I go to Atiku?
It's like you don't have money.
I don't have money.
Yes.
And so Atiku will finance me. Why, if Atiku has that influence, why didn't he just say, this BD I want? So ask Atiku for 5 billion. Does Atiku have 5 billion for himself?
Doesn't have 5 billion.
Talk more of giving it out to me.
Sir, you mean Atiku doesn't have 5 billion?
I've not seen evidence.
No,
we're building the APC together. He had no input in building the APC in Adamawa State.
Atiku is very wealthy. That's a story out there.
I say I've not seen the evidence. I've not seen evidence in the political process system. I've not seen evidence that 5 billion to be the law. See, I always tell anybody, if I want that level of money, I have a friend now in government who gives out billions like that, Bola now. I'll simply crawl to him and say, sir, say, these things, it's just politics.
Yes.
I can say that.
Yes.
Abi? Yes. They reach out to me. Some people, they reach out to me. If that's what I said, what will I do with 5 billion?
You don't need 5 billion, sir.
What will I do with it?
Another thing, sir, they said the way you castigated Atiku and you were specific about his ethnicity as a Fulani man.
Yes.
You went after him disparately.
Exactly.
But the question is that the only national position you held ever, the man who brought you to national prominence, and you've spoken so glowingly.
Yes.
Buhari, if he's looking down from you, he'll be happy the way you spoke about him. It was a Fulani man who gave you that position.
So
disparage his ethnicity.
You see, this is the problem. Fulanis think that every good thing belongs to them. It's at their own pleasure that they dish it out. That's the sentiment they are trying to explain, isn't it? We have no merit, we have no qualification for anything unless the one that the Fulani man...
No, that's not it.
That's the implication.
No, the point is that you will have spoken about Atiku himself, not his...
Atiku is
the entire race.
No, see, my brother... I wish you had to give you a little bit of history. In my place, I'm a Kilba man. I don't think we're up to 500,000 people or so, because we are just sufficient to fill local government and some. This Lawal I bear is my great-great-grandfather. When I was young, you can't call the name. When the jihad came and drove our people to the mountains, there was starvation because the expedition team for the Fulani people that came, they sat on the valley and was chopping our crops while our people were starving in the mountain. That man, great-great-grandfather Lawal, led an expedition of 3 people to the Fulani camp in the night.
Three people?
3 people, himself and 2 others. And they went and took off the head of the princess and took it up to the mountain. When morning come, the expedition force commander, Hamayaji, saw what happened. They didn't stay in Kilbaland that time. They didn't spend the night. They moved to home. So in my place, jihad didn't conquer us. They attempted and we drove them away. So in Kilba, there are Muslims who got it by persuasion. I mean, some you feel this is a good religion, you come in, whatever. Some by evangelism of Fulani, some because they want a government appointment. There were times when if you want an appointment, you must be a Muslim or pretend to be a Fulani man in our society. So it's a system I've grown up with Fulani people trying every stage of the way to oppress us.
So, one of former VP Atiku's main selling point is that he's a detribalized Nigerian, even though of Fulani extraction. In fact, it is alleged that the reason why the northern establishment do not really feel very comfortable with him is attribute of being detribalized. So when you see Atiku surrounding himself with people like Laya Limoke, Emeka Ihedioha, Osita Jidoka, I mean, a lot of people surround Atiku. I mean, Chief Ben Obi and the rest of them.
Those are Igbos who want to betray, who don't like Peter Obi to be president now.
No, that's not true. Before Peter Obi came into politics, they've always been with. Even Peter Obi was with Atiku, sir. Atiku chose him to be VP in 2019.
Atiku chose him. He was imposed on Atiku. There are history behind everything. Atiku doesn't like.
But what is your beef? What is your grouse against Atiku, sir, apart from?
It's not personal. Let me tell you. I'll illustrate with an example. You see, there's a perception in Nigeria. You agree that the perception now nationally is that this is a Yoruba government.
Yes, of course.
You agree.
It's a perception. And
it's a perception.
Anyway. It is wrong.
Well, yeah, you say it's wrong, but there's a perception.
Of course, it
and
is.
now, at a certain level, that perception becomes a reality. Okay? I'll give you one historical advantage. When Abiola won election, the day the result was announced, taxi was free in Kaduna. Taxi drivers were mostly Igbos. They had these Nissan cars that they were collecting for Arishokola on higher purchase basis. Exactly. So most taxi was free because every Roman on the street felt that I am now. So things like that. Forget about the fact that I worked hard for Abiola. I worked hard. I tell you why I worked hard for Abiola. I was actually initially working for Tofa because Tofa's running mate was an economist. And as a young businessman, I felt we needed that type of person.
Sylvester
Ugo, that's his name, Abi. Okay, so I was working hard for them. Apart from the fact that Tofa was also a northern, but I knew he was a moron. So as I was going to work one day, I saw a big poster of them. This poster, the way they do posters, the presidential candidate is life size. Then you, the vice president, you are just 4x4. I looked at that poster. It sent a message to me. So if this man wins, he will not allow the vice president any meaningful role. And it's for the vice president I'm voting for him. So I changed. I said, I better go with Abiola. So I started doing Abiola and did Abiola. And I was coming from...
As this government of Tinubu, have they crossed any red lines about our democracy, about the law, about the judiciary, about...
they have politics? Crossed every red line, double red line. Wow. They've crossed the first red line, the second red line. What is left there is to jump over the cliff. There's no more warning. They finish amber, yellow, green, red, no more warning. It's like a car driving towards a cliff and there's a stop sign and you think they've crashed that stop sign. I don't know.
Give us your assessments of the presidential candidates of all the political parties. Starting with, you said a few about Atiku Abubakar. Some will say you're not being fair to Atiku Abubakar.
Yes, should I be fair?
Peter Obi and Kwankwaso, especially Adebayo Adewale of SDP, Donald Duke, even though he has been a wall, I've not seen him anywhere. Can you speak about this presidential? What are their chances against President Tinubu?
No, I cannot assess their chances. Only God can do that. I have my own opinion.
Who are you backing?
I've not made up my mind. I'm on sabbatical, as I tell everybody. But I can tell you that, obviously, definitely, Atiku will lose. He will, and I pray he loses. I'm not the only one, and he will lose. And if it's between Bola Tinubu and Atiku, any day, I will choose Bola Tinubu. So that is clear for me. Peter is my friend. Indeed, before I came here, we were supposed to have spoken, but so Peter Obi, Kwankwaso, they will make a good team. For one, Peter Obi will try to be fair to everybody. Peter Obi will try to do that which is right for the people, for everybody. And with the backing of Kwankwaso, will do well, better than this government. But true, let me tell you, if I had my way, this boy, what did you call him, SDP?
Adebayo Adewale.
I was analyzing these people with my close friend. And Adebayo, he claims Adebayo.
You know him very well?
I don't know him, but I hear him, I listen to him. We've met 1 or 2 times. He has come to my office. I reached the position where people want to sound my... He has come to me, but I've listened to him on television on the basis of his speech, the way he talks. He will make an excellent president. He's youthful. He understands the economy. He understands what the society is going through. And I hope he's humble. I wouldn't know that. And I hope he's not just a typical Yoruba man like my friend. But Adebayo will make a good president, I believe. Who again did you say? Shawara is my friend. If not for people like Shawara, all Nigerians would have been in prison. I classify Shawara in the manner of Ganifawemi. If not for people like them who put government on his toes, government will just trample over everybody. So God bless his soul. He's one of those that fights for our liberty that we are enjoying now. But
Donald Duke.
Then Atiku is my friend. He didn't tell me he was contesting. He's a nice guy, you know, decent, handsome.
Handsome.
Yes, I don't know. He was a good governor when he was a governor. So I hope it translates. So my position, my option, I can tell you now, 1, 2, 3. If I had my way, that boy, Adebayo Adewale, number 1, with 100%. Number 2, Peter Obi, Kwankwaso. Take note, I'm pairing them individually to be disaster, but I'm pairing them. So I will give them on my own scale, they will be close to like 70%. And who again? Bola, 50, Atiku, 0. In that order.
You have a personal animals against that.
Why do you call it personal? See, he wants to be my leader. I have a right to critique him. And I know him more than you do. And I know his antecedents. I know his character, personal. You know, I know it. I can say you a text I said to him in December. I'm not doing it because of, I mean, I had tried to work with him. I had tried. I stepped out my way to work with him until it wasn't impossible for us to work.
Let me put you on the spot. If Rotimi Amechi had clinched the ticket, compare him to all these other people.
Which others?
Adebayo Adewale, Bola Tinubu, Showore. If Rotimi Amechi had won the ADC ticket, would he have remained in ADC and would you back him?
Unfortunately for
You were together in the Tinubu Buhari government.
Yes, no, I know him very,
you know him very well.
Yes, we know each other. We communicate very well. We don't socialize, but we communicate very well. And well, it's just unfortunate that because of his maybe personal excessive ambition, he decides to pair with the devil.
Are you being fair to Atiku, sir? Calling Atiku to the devil?
He does say Atiku's name now.
But who is he pairing?
Why are you putting words in my mouth? I don't allow.
It's a simple.
I don't allow.
It's a simple logical conclusion.
Well,
who is he pairing with? He's only pairing with one person. But I want you to Lancer.
I mean, and then now he would damage his political career. First of all, now his plank was it was the turn of the South to produce the president. And along the way, anytime they asked him whether he was angling for vice president, he said he's not angling for vice president. And I was disappointed that he has joined the. I used to look at him as somebody of integrity. He's quite religious, which I appreciate. And but so I had high regard of him in terms of a man who keeps his words. And my own conclusion is that his character, his disposition, is one that he cannot function effectively in an Atiku environment. But he has chosen to, because he's hoping that Atiku will do only 4 years, and that might give him the advantage to become president. It's inordinate, but that's who he is and that's what he wants. But I have nothing against him. He has discussed with me along the lines of what are my concerns in politics, and he understands my concerns, and he has mouthed some platitudes, or what did they say, how he will address them if we're to be president. And so, but he's somebody like that. He's energetic, and overall my assessment of him as a human being, as a person, is positive. But as a leader, I don't know. Because he's brash, he's something like that. He's another version of Wiki.
Really?
Almost. Polish. But better than Wiki, but if that is where he will be a Wiki. So that's what it is. But me, Adewale, but Adewale, I doubt his resources and his political reach. But even if he doesn't make it, he's one of those people that we should invest in for a Nigeria of the future. Adewale, there are quite a lot of others maybe hidden in the shadows that we don't know. But if we, at the last resort in this dispensation, I'm on sabbatical, but I'm under pressure to come out of my sabbatical. If I were to come back, I will go with Peter Obi and Kwankwaso. If I were to come out, I will go with them.
Okay, fantastic. Now, final question, sir. What possibilities exist for defeating President Tinubu in the forthcoming elections? Is it possible to defeat him?
First of all, there's the God factor.
Yes.
With God, all things are possible. And second, one of the things that is happening is that Bola Tinubu, I doubt if he has the physical ability to go through a rigorous campaign, physically and other internal health issues. So I read it as if he's not ready for a contest, because that will make it help him avoid the physical campaign. So he will try other means. I know my man now. We used to be together. And surprisingly, I know quite a lot of the things they do to win election, you know. We used to operate together. My thinking now is this. The result for the 2023 election is already written. 2027 election is already written.
Wow.
All that is required is for the processes to exhaust themselves.
There's a script being written towards...
It's not, why are you talking of script? It's not the script. Script is still theoretical now. I say it has been written.
Wow.
The script was written 3 years ago, so it is now, the result is there, or the methodology is there. And two things. Why do you think he purchased the opposition governors? Because first of all, that has denied the opposition access to funds. All the state governors are now with him. So no opposition has access to funds to compete against him. Number two, the governors, because of the support they have from him, has encouraged them to be very cavalier in the manner in which they are spending state resources.
They administer their states and all of that.
Yeah, so now it's in their interest to make sure...
Yes, they deliver.
They deliver, and they not for themselves, because opposition will come and... So they will work hard. They will do what they did in 2023, which your friend el-rufai claimed they did for him. They will do the same thing. So now look at it. If my state, Adamawa State, if Adamu Fintiri is going to deliver Adamawa by hook or crook, more by crook, and Borno is going to deliver Borno by crook, and Yobe by crook, Gombe by crook, Taraba by crook, Kaduna, Kano, all those northwest states, the whole state, except Bauchi, you know, the 19 states, before Abuja is the 28th, you know, by crook, they will all deliver. They will write the results. They will allow you to go to the polling unit and pretend, and the INEC will do some oju and announce the result that has already been handed over to them, I think, and that's the end. And now the problem would be the reaction of the people to that. And my own assessment is that every Nigerian will just remain in his house, in no one trouble.
The candidates will go to the courts.
The candidate will go to their courts, and sons will collect billions of naira and impoverish them further, and then that's the end. And the Nigerians will succumb to what we used to say in the military. With one bullet in a rifle, you can get 1,000 people to surrender. Wow. Because nobody wants to take that one bullet. So every Nigerian will just go home and sleep. Some will not even come out that day. But after the election, a lot of people will do some gra to protest and collect money from people and try to protest. After some time, they fizzle out, and that's the end. We prepare for another 4 years. But they can deceive themselves and pretend they are campaigning for every political party rigged the primaries now. Up to now, they just wrote names. Every SDP, NDP, all these PPP, they are still fighting. There's no party
Even NDC too.
Especially NDC. Everybody can beat his chest that we did a free and fair primaries. So what moral complaint do they have with Atiku?
Are you afraid that President Tinubu, as it's been alleged by some, that he may go the route of tenure elongation, third term?
Bola Tinubu will go third term. If God gives him the long life to do it.
He will?
He will.
Oh, wow. Really?
Yeah, he will. What will stop him now? Blind Nigerians or a blind National Assembly of crooks? Bola Tinubu will go third term, subject to his health.
Wow. Wow. It's been such a pleasure having you on the program, sir.
Thank you very much.
It's been such an interesting conversation.
From around the nation to every corner of the world, delivering the stories that matter. This is First Next News.